Yes.
And then
I like it.
good evening. I think I'm on. Good evening, Ridgefield School District. Can people hear me? Hello, good evening. This is a wonderful room full of Ridgefield people. I am calling the meeting to order, and I'd like Donna Farnsworth, would you lead us in the flag salute, please? Okay, do we have any changes or additions to the agenda?
We do not at this time, thank you.
Okay, our first action this evening is to swear in our new director, Amanda Ronstadt, into the director position for District 1.
If Director Ronstadt's family would like to come up and stand behind her while she takes her oath of office, we'd be happy to have you up here as well. Come on up. This is a whole family task here. Amanda, this is going to be pretty easy. This is the easiest thing you'll get to do as a board director. I'll just let you know. So I'm going to read you the oath of office. You're going to repeat it. I'm going to let you use the microphone rather than me, and then we'll do an official signing after that. Okay. Okay. Raise your right hand.
I, Amanda Ronstadt,
Do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and the Constitution of the State of Washington,
and I will faithfully and impartially perform
and I will faithfully and impartially perform
and discharge the duties of the office
and discharge the duties of the office
of Ridgefield School District number 122,
of Ridgefield School District number 122,
Director District Position 1,
Director District Position 1,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability. Woohoo!
Family, stay here. Oh, okay, you get to sign. You have to sign right here.
Okay.
And then you also have to sign right here. I need to sign as well. And then we're all official.
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Picture with family.
All right, welcome Amanda to the board, and thank you for being here today. We have a quorum, which is fantastic. We have a couple of our other directors who are out of town this week. So next, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
And I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, aye, approved. And then now we have superintendent reports.
We're going to start this evening with our Ridgefield High School student leadership update. So Michaela Nix, I know you're here somewhere in this crowd, I hope. No. Do I have a Ridgefield High School administrator? I'm looking straight at you, JT. Okay, we will just put her after the students of the month and hopefully she'll be here. Otherwise, JT, you're on deck. Okay. All right, so we're going to move into our students of the month presentation. Our board members are going to come down in front here. Someone is going to roll out the magical red carpet. Thank you, Tyler. This is for our students and staff of the month. Get to use the red carpet this evening. And we're going to actually start this evening with the high school representatives. Yes, yes. There she is. Hello, Lindsay. Lindsay's going to present to us our Ridgefield. We have two high school students to recognize because we were unable to recognize the October student of the month in October due to some other events happening. So we're going to recognize our October and our November students of the month from Ridgefield High this evening. And while Lindsay is talking about you, if you could make your way down the red carpet to the front. There we go, ladies. We're going to go right over there and Joe's going to take a lot of pictures. And then family members, if you're here, we'd like to invite you over to the podium if you'd like to say a few words about your student with us this evening. Take it away.
Ridgefield High School is thrilled to announce junior Jade Gonzalez as our October, now November, student of the month. Good job, Jade. Chosen for the month where our school is focusing on attitude, Jade embodies optimism. She strives to be a source of positivity for others, which is shown through her compassion and zest for life. Respect is at the core of Jade's interactions. She believes it doesn't take much effort to strike up a conversation, which could significantly impact someone's day. This perspective not only fosters a welcoming environment, but also promotes kindness among peers and staff alike. As a leader, Jade understands responsibility deeply. Serving as the captain of the speech and debate team and participating in various activities such as track, ASB, and Knowledge Bowl, Jade sets ambitious goals and inspires others to do the same. Her commitment to these roles showcases their dedication to our community. In addition to her leadership and positive nature, Jade is passionate about pole vaulting and painting. These hobbies not only provide joy and fulfillment, but also serve as outlets for self-expression. At Ridgefield High School, Jade appreciates the daily opportunities for collaboration and new experiences with her classmates. As one current teacher stated, Jade's gracious personality is infectious and can change the tone of a classroom in a really great way. She brings a calm atmosphere to the room, yet still encourages peers to be their authentic selves. To younger students, Jade offers this advice: don't let one bad thing ruin your day. Always look for something positive. This mindset is a testament to her resilient spirit. Congratulations, Jade, on this well-deserved recognition. Who did you bring with you this evening?
My mom and my dad.
Which one of you likes to come up and say something? Yes, please.
Wasn't expecting to say anything here. It kind of caught me by surprise, but yeah, as Jade's father, I'm, you know, she's really driven. She's from the very beginning, she looks out for all her teammates and all the sports that she's joined. She's always willing to stay behind and help out in any way she can. And she basically put this on herself. It's not something that, you know, we instill in her, like, you know, we have to go do this. So she's always caring about other people, and she puts people before her. And, you know, as a father, I can't be more proud of all her efforts. So congratulations, Jade.
I don't normally go first. Our November student of the month for the high school is Alina Kane. Come on down, Alina. Alina, stay front and center for us. You can stay right there so we can all see you. Perfect. Ridgefield High School is proud to honor a student that exemplifies the qualities of a dedicated learner, a compassionate friend, and a natural leader. Alina Kane is RHS's November Student of the Month. Alina approaches her studies with sincerity and enthusiasm. Her commitment to her education is evident in her determination to understand challenging material, and she consistently offers support to her classmates who may be struggling. Despite her own mastery of concepts, often ahead of her classmates, she remains patient and understanding, making her a valued presence in any group setting. In addition to her academic pursuits, Alina is passionate about art. She enjoys drawing and has a talent for capturing the beauty of plants, animals, and fantastical themes in her sketchbook. Her creativity not only enriches her life, but also brings joy to those who experience her work, including those students using the Calm Down room at Southridge Elementary. Alina credits her parents as her role models, appreciating their patience and guidance. Their influence is evident in her approach to life and learning. Alina values the supportive relationships she has built with her teachers, particularly Miss House, Miss Cooper, and Miss Lacey, who continually inspire her to strive for excellence while keeping her grounded. Alina's diverse experiences, including her background in a dual immersion Spanish program and her commitment to community service through the Art Club, Spanish Club, and National Honor Society, showcase her adaptability and respect for different cultures. Alina is an extraordinary student who embodies the values of compassion, resilience, and responsibility. We have no doubt Alina will continue to make a positive impact wherever her journey takes you. Alina, who'd you bring with you this evening? Would anyone like to say a few quick words?
It has been a privilege to have Alina in our family. She is an amazing young woman, and talking about role models, she is a good role model for our family too. She is consistently positive. She's bright. She's got a great sense of humor. She gives it her all in everything she does, and she perseveres through hard times. So that's one of my congratulations, Alina.
Hello, I'm Alan Endringa. I am the director of Wisdom Ridge Academy, and Wisdom Ridge Academy is pleased to announce senior Ethan Jarrell as our November Student of the Month. Ethan, good job going all the way to the back and walking the red carpet. Ethan is a strong student academically, always staying on top of his coursework and earning good grades. He's polite, respectful, and dependable. Ethan chose Wisdom Ridge because it allows him a flexible schedule, and it also offers him the opportunity to take courses that he cannot take at the high school. In fact, this is cut short, so I'm going to tell an anecdotal story, but we were really freaking out last week because Ethan has to have a science class to graduate, and he didn't have a science class on his schedule, but he didn't have the science class on his schedule because he already finished it. So he knew what was going on. We sent him an email and said, oops, we think that you're supposed to, and then, yeah. So that's how good of a student he is. Due to his success, Ethan has gained the confidence to try new things to see if he likes them or not. In his spare time, Ethan enjoys sports and loves hiking in the mountains. After high school, he plans to travel to the East Coast, and he has a goal to eventually visit all 50 states. And upon his return, Ethan will work part-time and enroll at Clark College for fall quarter. Ethan's one example of the many outstanding students that we have at Wisdom Ridge Academy, and we are proud to call him our November Student of the Month. Ethan, I know you've got a mostly full row of people. Who'd you bring with you? Anybody want to say anything? I can meet you halfway with the microphone.
I also taken by surprise by the whole speech portion, but I have plenty to say about him. Ethan, we're of course very proud of Ethan and all that he's accomplished and worked through. And one of the best things about Ethan is he'll find something that you're interested in because he has very many interests. Like you said, he wanted to travel to all 50 states. We recently went to Dallas for a trip, and it was very important that we got to Oklahoma and Louisiana. And so we spent a lot of time in the car on a 4-day trip, but that's all right. And it's perfect for me because I love to go, and he loves to go. So we're both pacing in the hotel room every trip we take while mom wants to sleep in. So anyway, so he's always up for adventure. He's always dragging us out for a hike. So we love the adventure spirit and very proud of him.
I think we've got Early Learning Center next. Thank you.
I am Michael Basquette. I'm the interim director of the Early Learning Center, and the staff at the Early Learning Center has nominated Bo Buckland as Student of the Month. One staff member has said, he's such a great friend and participant in class, so respectful and kind. Another member stated, he consistently demonstrates empathy towards his peers and always goes above and beyond to lend a helping hand to staff and students. Bo goes out of his way to include everyone in activities, and his smile truly lights up our classroom. Finally, another member stated, Bo has been a great role model when it comes to being kind, respectful, and caring. He joins in with all kids in class and always follows classroom expectations. He helps out his friends with putting backpacks on, lining up, and doing table activities. He brings a positive and fun attitude to school each and every day. It's been a pleasure getting to know Bo and watching him grow in preschool. It is for these reasons, including the haircut, that we congratulate Bo on being the Early Learning Center November Student of the Month. I got you pinned in.
Perfect. I'm ready here. His father's not able to be here tonight due to a work trip, but we are so proud of him. One thing we've always told him is to be kind and respectful to others, and we feel like this just highlights the fact that that is what he does at school. He has his Mimi and his grandma here, and I'm gonna be more proud of him. He's a super fun kid, super funny, and too smart for us. So.
Southridge, and I think we have Southridge next.
So our Southridge Student of the Month is Sebastian Pena Mesa. Sebastian, go ahead and walk that red carpet. As you can tell, he has a lot of fans. Sebastian, here is what teachers had to say about you. Sebastian exemplifies resilience. He comes to school every day prepared to do his best and consistently works hard at doing so, even when the task is difficult. His dedication is contagious. He enjoys learning, and it shows in his great attitude in what he shares with the class, including during Socratic seminars in ELA block. Ooh. Sebastian is a wonderful example of a student who really cares about his growth. He knows how to learn from mistakes, and he never gives up. Sebastian, congratulations on Student of the Month. I see that you brought a couple of people with you. Who did you bring? And a whole lot of Southridge. Yeah. Would one of you like to speak?
I will do it in Spanish because it's our first language and I'm really proud of it. And they have of our families watching through Zoom. So hello, everybody, right there in Guatemala. Primero, darle la gloria y la honra a Dios porque sin Él nada de esto fuera posible. Sebastián es un niño increíble que tiene el corazón de Dios y estamos muy orgullosos por todo lo que ha logrado. Y vino a este país sin saber inglés y nos ha sorprendido muchísimo cómo ha avanzado. And we're really proud of you, mi amor. I love you.
Okay, I'm Angie Gobb. I'm here to share Union Ridge Student of the Month. Union Ridge Student of the Month is Mikey Whelan. Can I have my friend walk the long way? There you go. Here's what the staff at Union Ridge had to say about Mikey. Mikey's great attitude and contagious smile brightens each day. He is thoughtful and diligent about his schoolwork and always gives his best effort, inspiring his classmates to do the same. As a natural leader, Mikey encourages others to participate and creates a positive environment where everyone feels included. He is a true bucket filler, going out of his way to include and celebrate his classmates. He is always one of the first students to volunteer when a classmate needs help. He helps his classmates if they get stuck on something that they don't know yet, or if they just need help cleaning up. Mikey's friends and classmates are quick to go to him when they need help or encouragement, as his kindness and enthusiasm make learning fun. Awesome job, Mikey. So it looks like we took over the whole row here. Mike, you want to share who you brought? Would someone like to say something?
I just want to say that I'm really proud of Mikey. He gets really focused on the things he loves: soccer, music, and arts, and book smarts. That's mom. So really proud of him when he does focus.
Mikey, we're so proud of you. You're such a helper. And it's true, you do fill everybody's buckets at home, whether you're in school or on the soccer field. You are a true helper, and we appreciate you and we love you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Todd Graves, the principal at Sunset Ridge. And I have the privilege of honoring Olivia Henderson as our Student of the Month. Olivia, here is what Sunset Ridge teachers, staff, and your teacher have to say. Olivia exemplifies our PBIS expectations for being respectful, responsible, and resilient. She consistently demonstrates a strong commitment to her learning, always taking responsibility for her work and showing persistence in the face of challenge. Her positive attitude and patience, even when things get tough, reflect her resilient character. Olivia's ambition to improve each day is truly admirable. Beyond her academic dedication, Olivia's kindness and respect towards others make her a positive force in our community, classroom, and school community. She is thoughtful, inclusive, and always willing to help others, which fosters an environment of respect and support. Her maturity and balanced approach to both schoolwork and life set a wonderful example for her peers. Olivia is not only an exceptional student, she is a role model for what it means to embody our core values at Sunset Ridge. For these reasons, she is more than deserving of the November Student of the Month Award. Who did you bring with you this evening? Okay, would anybody like to say something?
Well, it's hard to say much more than that letter, but she's definitely the earliest one to rise in our household. She's always like annoyingly getting up super early. And then the alarm goes off. But, you know, the biggest attribute she has is the hardworking aspect. Like she plays soccer, schoolwork, really determined and very assertive. So with those skill sets, I think she'll go far in life. And her mom and I are very proud of her. And I think she'll just keep embodying those standards, and you know, as she grows through life. And you know, you got anything to say, Livy?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Mansfield. I am the principal at View Ridge Middle School, and I have the honor of recognizing Miss Anna Chapin as our November Student of the Month. I have to be honest, before I start reading a little bit of our write-up, I was a little taken aback when I saw that you were nominated as our Student of the Month, but not for the reason you might think. In Ridgefield, in order to be eligible to receive this award, it means that you have to have not gotten it before. And I was extremely surprised to see, with your social and your academic leadership and who you are and how you treat people, that you haven't been here before. So super excited to get to recognize you now. Just some things that her teacher said about her. Mr. Amble highlights her fun-loving spirit and her focus on mastery over mere completion. He notes her pursuit of learning sets a wonderful example, and she always contributes thoughtfully with her insights as well as her questions. Mr. Brockle echoes the same sentiment, saying, Anna's a wonderful student and person. She is organized, focused, and driven to do her best in everything she does. Her insightful participation in discussions inspires her classmates to engage with the topic at hand. She leads and guides discussions with confidence and challenges herself to excel. In her algebra class, Mr. Kotsovas commends Anna for her hard work and collaborative spirit. She's off to a great start in 8th grade and asks questions to deepen her understanding, and is a pleasure to have in class as she prepares diligently for high school. Additionally, Ms. Wetzel recognizes Anna's leadership in the choir, stating she always strives to learn and understand what we're doing in class. She leads by example, and her peers look up to her. She truly is an asset to the choir and a joy to work with. Congratulations, Anna. Your dedication and leadership make you a well-deserving recipient of this recognition. We really look forward to seeing what you do in the future. Congratulations. Anna, who'd you bring with you today? All right, who gets the mic?
Hi, Anna. We are so proud of you. You are lovely. I've lost every thought I had already, but it's nice to hear that you are so appreciated at school. I wish I was there to see what you do. It's nice to hear that you help others. You do really well at your academics. I hear about your physical sports, your you're a student athlete. And yeah, I love that you're Christian at home and you're a hard worker at home and you're pretty fun. And I know you'd rather be at dance 6 days a week. In fact, you're missing something right now. So thank you.
Okay, well, congratulations. Let's give all of our kids one more big round of applause. It's now my honor to share our employees of the month. So if you could join me down front, Perla, you also get to use the red carpet tonight. I see you also brought your fan club. Perla is an invaluable member of the South Ridge Elementary team, embodying the true spirit of a dedicated, compassionate, and proactive educator. Her commitment to serving our students and supporting our staff is exceptional, making a lasting impact on our school community. She's a visionary who seeks improvements in our daily operations and is always willing to invest the time and hard work needed to ensure seamless execution. Known for her professionalism and courtesy, she approaches challenges head-on, never hesitating to voice ideas that will enhance the experience for both students and staff. Her warmth and positivity brighten our hallways, creating an atmosphere where smiles, laughter, and even a few spontaneous dance moves are common as people pass by. Southridge is incredibly fortunate to have Perla, who consistently enriches our school's present and future, and she was nominated by not one but 4 separate staff members for this award. Congratulations, Perla. Does anybody want to talk about Perla?
So Pearl is up here for the same reasons I fell in love with her 16 years ago. Her dedication to excellence, her bright smile, high energy, and the fact that she's not afraid to speak her mind, no matter if it's at home, at work, or in a group full of random people. So congratulations, and we love you.
And the dance moves, right? Yeah. All right. Next, I would like to welcome up. This is our first classroom teacher that we've had the privilege to honor this year, Emily Brabant. Could you please make your way down? Emily has consistently expanded the band program each year, demonstrating her commitment to its growth and success. She's dedicated to enhancing the musicianship of the ensemble, challenging students to develop both their technical skills and artistic expression. Additionally, Emily fosters a strong sense of teamwork and collaboration among the members, which strengthens the cohesion of the group. Her contributions are invaluable to both the performing arts program and the high school community at large. and she's just a pleasure to work with. Congratulations, Emily. Mr. Weigert will be like, Dr. Rodriguez, I told you. Everyone who got a Student or Staff of the Month award, if you would like to come down to the front, we're going to do a group picture. And it's okay for your mom to come with you, or your dad, or your nana, or your primo, whomever you'd like to bring. There we go. Okay, board members, don't leave just yet. We have one more group to recognize. Sure, yeah, of course. Okay, awesome. Impressive. Don't go away. You just get to stand here and hang out for a moment. Okay, we have one more group of folks to recognize this evening, and to assist the board and I, Ms. Kaylin Heath, who works in our human resources and is our benefits specialist, is going to help with the presentation today. It is Substitute Appreciation Day here in just a few more weeks. And so some of our substitutes that work for us in either certificated or classified positions were nominated by the administrators in their building. So administrators, be prepared to jump up and come stand with your nominee so that we can take your photo as well this evening. So first up is Victoria Weiss from Union Ridge Elementary. Congratulations. Principal Gobb, please join her for the photo. Brian Heim, I don't know, you're here somewhere. Oh, he's hiding in the lobby. Look at all the kids got in the photo, so principals, assistant principals. Congratulations, Victoria. Next, we would like to congratulate as a super substitute, Allison Alley from Sunset and View. Congratulations, Allison. Next up is Trisha Hirdes from the ELC. Clap her down, the red carpet. There we go. Next up, we would like to congratulate super substitute Dakin Parks, who works at Ridgefield High School. Congratulations. Next up, we want to thank Heather Walker, who serves at Southridge Elementary. And from Sunset Ridge, we would like to also congratulate Melody Bass, or Bass. I'm not sure. Congratulations, Melody. Okay, and just in case, because I never want to miss anyone, additional honorees of this year's Super Substitute Award were Bill Stewart, Chani Roeder, it's okay, Jackie Corey, Melissa Wakefield, Rochelle Chapman, and Stephen Walker. Okay, yay. Now you get to sit down. Yeah, yeah. Substitutes, thank you for all your effort. As a recovering school secretary, we couldn't do our jobs without you being there. And often it is quite the shuffle in the morning, especially at our secondary schools when we're covering multiple periods of the day. So thank you for your dedication to our Ridgefield community and our students. And we just really appreciate having you as part of our team. I promise we will take a brief recess in just a moment, but before we do, I don't want you to hear about, to miss out on hearing all the great things happening at Ridgefield High School. So Michaela, come on down.
All right. Perfect. I'm exceptionally excited to present what we have been doing in our student body this month because we have a lot to go over. So first, with Dr. Pepper Toss, I want to give a big thank you to Dr. Pepper and PepsiCo for sponsoring this event for Ridgefield High School. As some of you may have seen throughout the NFL or during half times, there is something where students have the ability to throw these footballs into these large cutouts of the Dr. Pepper cans where they can then be awarded money. And here we had Jack Radosevich and Natalie Evans, our little battle of the presidents, if you will. Jack Radosevich is our student council president and Natalie Evans is our NHS president. So many students were encouraged to apply, any seniors to get academic help and scholarship money. All of our applicants received $500 for simply just applying. And then our first place winners got $2,000 and our second place winner got $1,000. So big donation towards their academic interest. So yeah, that was our Dr. Pepper Toss that happened at one of our half times at our football games. And then we can head on over to our pink out. Another thing that some of you may or may not heard of is last year we started a thing where we made shirts, our B1 shirts, kind of our slogan to kind of promote inclusivity throughout our school, something that we did for our homecoming football game last year where all the students could wear white shirts. So this year, in honor to support breast cancer awareness, we decided to make a pink out shirt. This kind of took our community by surge. as you can see, sports teams, cheer, band, student body, community members, about anyone came together to kind of create this big movement, and we were able to generate $3,987.91 to donate to the Pink Lemonade Project, which was generous enough to pair with us to create this fundraiser. And so we were able to produce these beautiful shirts that at least one of you in here has. Yeah, definitely one of you. I know more than one of you, but yeah, so that was another wonderful thing that as a student body, we were able to give back. Another smaller thing on the much smaller scale that we do throughout Student Council is we like to promote some more fun and some more community building things within to promote a culture of fun, rise school spirit, and create club recognition. So throughout the 200 building, we have the 4 different hallways decorated in different ghostly themes, as we had the pleasure of having Halloween on a school day this week. So we had the ghost hallway, pumpkins, spiders, and the graveyard, where we had different clubs and stuff around our school that can be decorated and posted along the walls so that students are still aware of what's provided at our school, but also just create somewhere fun where students want to come to school, want to engage with the learning activities, and kind of promote that school spirit even though it is a holiday. And then lastly, we have our NHS canned food drive, which is kind of like a competition that we had between classes, where NHS was able to gather about 800 cans to be donated to the Ridgefield Resource Center, just right down here. We partner with them pretty frequently for March Madness, Giving Tree, all of that stuff when it comes to canned food. So thank you to Big NHS for 800 cans to the Resource Center. Another thing that we did this month was recognize our veterans through our Veteran Day assembly that we do online. This is a short video that Student Council puts together. The QR code is up on the screen for anyone wanting to access. We had a few Ridgefield alumni who were newly graduated who sent videos directly from their programs, from their universities, etc., as well as community members were encouraged to send in videos or photos of previous serving family members or loved ones that they know that have served in order to honor them within our community. And that was displayed throughout the entire school during our spud time. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to presenting all that we have next month. And thank you for having me again this month. Thank you.
Do you want me to do it or you want to do it? We're going to take a short 5-minute break.
We are going to take a short 5-minute break before we move on to the next part of our meeting. For those of you with littles, if you need to go home, we understand. If you want to stay and hear all this amazing information that Dr. Rodriguez is going to share with us about our school district, please stay. And if you don't, we totally get it. Watch it on YouTube later. But thank you all to this beautiful group of people for coming tonight and celebrating your amazing students with us.
Do you guys want to do it?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that was you standing there.
Oh, it's okay.
Here, you need help with this?
I thought we were gonna do a picture, so.
Do you want to take a picture
Well, I wanted to, but she said we're gonna go, so.
Dre, do you want to take a picture?
Do the wave. No, I love that. I was gonna say we're gonna restart our meeting, but I heard a proposal from the crowd to do the wave. So here we go. Dr. Rodriguez, will you start us off, please? I'm not joking. Yeah, no. Okay. Okay. Director Ronstadt, we're gonna start again. Okay. I think we're still in your report, correct?
We are.
Okay.
So I would like to call up to the podium Executive Director of Business Services, Paula McCoy. Paula is going to share with us a summary of the year-end closeout of last school year, 23-24. Just as by way of reminder, our fiscal year ends on August 31st. So in September and October, we're paying bills that were created during the summer. And so we're at the point now where we're submitting to the state our reporting as we close out the budget. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Paula.
Yes, and by submitting, we're in the process still of submitting. So we have closed out our books as of 6 o'clock last Friday. So we're submitting to the state this week our fiscal year end report for last year. So this is hot off the press information. So I'm going to refresh the board on last year, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail on the general fund, covering some of the activities that have happened that led to where we're ending in the fiscal year. But not go into too much detail on the other funds, capital projects, debt service, transportation, and ASB. But quickly, the district does have other funds that cover the district's operations. But primarily, we operate the school district out of our general fund, which pays all of our employees, operates our buildings, and runs our day-to-day. So all of our day-to-day operations are out of our general fund, and the other funds are important, but are used for other limited purposes for the school district. We started the year for the general fund, as the board might recall, with a pretty sizable deficit budget, and we had a lot of work to do over this past year to shore up that deficit budget. And we imposed some pretty drastic spending reductions to get our budget in check. And we also, and we'll go into a little bit more when we look at the revenues here, but I'll cover some of the other things that happened on the revenue side in a little bit here too. So revenues for the general fund, we'll go into a little bit more detail here. So looking at the fiscal year, the budget for revenues is in the dark blue and the actual activity is in the light blue. Looking back at this fiscal year, almost every category of our revenues came in a little bit higher than budget. So that actually helped us. When we go back to this previous slide, that 66,181,000 We actually finished the year about 667,000 higher than what we budgeted for revenues. So going back to this, this graph here, almost every category of revenues was a little bit higher than budget for various reasons. The state revenues, we had budgeted our class size revenue for elementary. We budget conservatively. We budget for a class size at 18. Our actual class size was closer to 17, which led to a little bit more funding there. We had a little bit higher running start enrollment that led to a little bit higher state funding for running start. Our special ed enrollment, we had a little bit higher funding there, so that category went up a little bit more. And then on the local side, for our local fee-based revenues, we had a community education program that offered a lot more classes than anticipated. We also had higher collections in our food service program. We also had some additional federal revenue that came in and supported our food service operations. So all of those things that I'm mentioning led to higher revenues than projected. And that helped us on the revenue front of our budget. Looking at expenses, we spent a lot of time through both at the beginning stages of the year and then throughout the year, really looking at staffing, controlling our hiring process. We started the year without, for example, we started the year without a superintendent position. We didn't hire that position. We waited until the end of the year to fill that position when we had an opportunity to have better candidates. We also did not fill some additional teaching positions due to lower enrollment forecasts. So that helped our budget recover. Throughout the year, we did not purchase as much supplies as we had projected. We also did not have the same level of contracted services as we have previously. Those were all things that led into our general fund expenses coming in less than budget. And I've got another summary that we'll go through here in a second. But graphically, what does our year look like in terms of revenues and expenses? You've seen this with budget. We'll look at the actual here. Looking at this, the local tax on the revenue side, that's 15% of the budget. And as you kind of go around in a clockwise fashion, the 4% is state or local non-tax. State general is our apportionment or the enrollment-driven revenue, 61% of the budget. These categories or these percentages haven't really changed much from what we budgeted. Those are still within about 1% of what our budget amount is in terms of percentages. On the expense side, that 44% is your largest category, which is your teachers, our certificated salaries. The 13% is classified salaries. That's our paraprofessionals, our district office staff fall into that category. 20% is benefits, 5% is supplies. The overall staffing amount went down a little bit, due in part because we have not filled some of those positions, as I mentioned, in an effort to try to shore up the budget. Total expenses are under budget by about $3 million. That gives you some perspective of how much we cut the budget back from where we started the year. And we'll go into a little bit more detail here in a minute.
Could you, Paula, could
Yes.
you go back just one slide?
Yes.
I just want the board to and the community to be aware when we're looking at this revenue of 15% local tax, that is coming from our EP&O levy.
Yes.
Which is something we're going to be discussing later in the meeting. And so I just want you to notice the size of that slice of pie.
Yes.
That when we're talking about the EP&O this evening, it's a replacement of that existing piece of pie. It's not a new slice of pie. And when you look at the expenditure side, you can see 79% is going direct to salaries and benefits for employees. And it's actually higher than that because the purchase services that you see there in that 17% includes things like our ABM partnership for custodial services, our Chartwell's staff for food services, our
bus
security and K-World staff. So to say that 79% of our money goes to salaries and benefits is actually much lower than what we really are paying for people's incomes within our greater community.
Absolutely. That's a great point. So now getting into that revenue detail, what's coming in higher on the revenue side. I mentioned some of these items here earlier. Food service revenues, community ed. Another large item that happens at year end is we do an accounting adjustment to value our investments. And that could be higher or lower at year end, depending upon what happens with your investment activity. This year, we had a sizable adjustment due to the fair market value of our investments. 2 years ago, we took a sizable loss on our investments. We've actually made that up this year. We've recovered the entirety of that loss that we took 2 years ago. And the value of that adjustment was $200,000. So that alone is accounting for a big chunk of that that net difference in our fund balance at year end. Looking at the expense side, I mentioned the staffing reductions that we've done, or not reductions, but the unfilled positions. We've drastically reduced our spending on supplies. We've also had we covered in our last meeting, we've had lower substitute costs this year, due in part to fewer long-term absences. That is really contingent on the staff and what staff are taking long-term absences. It varies from year to year. Transportation, we also had less of an unfilled transportation impact this year. That also varies from year to year. All of those factors are causing our transportation, or not, all of those factors are causing our expenses to come in less than budget this year. And all of those factors also are contingent on what happens throughout the year. I would imagine that we're going to have some additional spending reductions as we come into this year as well. That last item, anticipated expenses not billed, each year we have some expenses that are initiated out of 1 year, but because of the timing of when the goods are received, they cross fiscal years. So we might receive the goods in September, but they were ordered in August. They cross 1 year, or they're expensed out of, or they're ordered out of 1 year and they're expensed in another year. So this is an example where we've got about $85,000 where they were budgeted out of this last year, but they're going to carry over into the future year. So we're going to have some expenses that were not anticipated because they were initiated out of last year, but they're going to be impacting the future year's budget. So we will have some of that like we do every year. But those are the major impacts on the expense side of the budget that are impacting the year-end report. Any questions on that? I know I kind of covered that pretty quickly.
No, I think that's helpful, and it looks like we did okay with, I mean, that was a lot of effort to try to get to a balanced budget by the end of the year and to recover from an anticipated deficit, but it looks like we did a good job.
Yes.
And I hope it wasn't too stressful for those who had to navigate through the reductions in people and things to deliver the same amount of services to our kiddos. But thank you for all that work, everyone who's listening, everyone who's here, because I know that was a big focus of this past year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Paula. Continuing with superintendent updates, I do just again want to say that the team has worked really hard. And my team over the summer was like, you're not going to feel that. You're not going to feel that. You're not going to feel that. So we did really try to spend as little as possible and tighten staffing as much as we could throughout the summer. And there was a lot of things that were cut even prior to me arriving in order to get to a balanced budget. So always good to be in a balanced budget. It does mean some things that we used to be able to afford to do, we no longer can afford to do as a district. So just important for folks to understand there is a cost to that. Lots of updates for you this evening. We've talked about before community cafes. We held our community cafes for families at Sunset View, Ridgefield High, and Wisdom Ridge in October. We did have community members in attendance at the Wisdom Ridge event. Last week, we had a community cafe at Three Peaks Brewing, which was our best attended event thus far. Not sure if it was the time of day or the available beverages, but we were happy to see more people. And our last fall community cafe is this Thursday, 8:30 to 10 a.m. at Lava Java. So come on down. I'll be consuming a lot of coffee. And I know some of our board will be present as well. Just a reminder, we are hosting a town hall next Tuesday, November 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Sunset and View. And we are looking forward to getting additional feedback on the levy proposals and other ideas related to our capital facilities planning. We just want to encourage any community member. You do not have to have students in the district to attend. We would love to see you there. Family, staff, and even students are welcome. Just wanted to give you an update on the elementary one-to-one device initiative. We have begun collecting Chromebooks from our first and second grade students. Third and fourth grade are coming up. So we anticipate that our tech team will have all devices returned to carts and classrooms for all of our elementary students, kindergarten through fourth grade, by winter break. So we're pretty excited that we're way ahead of schedule on that project. Just want to again say thank you to our staff and families for sharing their feedback, because that is really what drove that decision. I did want to share, we shared out information today with administrative staff and also this afternoon with families. We received back water quality testing information in October, and as can be expected in some of our older facilities, specifically Union South and older parts of Ridgefield High School, we have a number of fixtures that did not pass the water quality on first draw. They did do follow-up testing, and when flushed, they all passed quality, but in an abundance of caution, we have bagged or turned off all of those fixtures. And so there's messaging that went out today, but just wanted to make sure folks are aware we're in the process of ordering replacement fixtures based on the recommendation from the testing company. And also we are working with Department of Health on that project. Staff civility, I talked about at our last meeting. So I just wanted to follow up on that, let you know that we launched a staff survey today in preparation for a potential district civility policy. I anticipate we'll collect information from other stakeholder groups, but I really wanted to start with staff to get their take, and the questions for them look a little different than they will look for the community. So there'll be different versions of that for different groups. Lots of good news to share. Just today, we received notice that we are being awarded about $500,000 for energy efficiency projects. This was a competitive grant. We had to get through multiple cycles to be awarded. And I want to give thanks to Assistant Superintendent Chris Griffith for his leadership in securing this grant for our district. It is going to help pay for heat pump and lighting upgrades at Ridgefield High School. Woo! See, it was worth staying just for that, right? And also some elementary lighting improvements. Woot woot. You can cheer. Tater tot cheer over here. Woo! Okay. So we're pretty excited about that. On the kid front, Ridgefield High Theater put on an amazing production of Arsenic and Old Lace over the past 2 weekends. I cannot wait for the next production. They're quite talented. And our student athletes are faring well as we launched into postseason play for fall sports. So congratulations to our boys golf and boys football teams who have now completed their seasons. Boys tennis is complete until state competition in the spring. Girls cross country placed 14th at the state meet last weekend, and boys cross country placed August 5th. So congratulations to them. Girls swim will be competing at state and federal way this weekend. Girls volleyball will be competing in state in Yakima this weekend. Girls soccer is competing right now. Don't know if we have a score update, but we'll find out. They started at 6 o'clock, so we're missing a really good game of soccer tonight. Hopefully, they'll be moving on to quarterfinals this weekend, and then state finals for girls soccer will be next weekend, a week and a half from now, in Tacoma. And then finally, I have some thank yous. I just want to say thank you to our teachers. I've had a lot of opportunity to visit along with Kaylin. We've been visiting staff rooms during lunchtime and have had an opportunity just to interact and chat with a lot of our certificated and classified staff. And I just want you to know I see you, I hear you, I know you're working so hard for our kids. And I just really appreciate it. I want to give a special shout out to View Ridge Middle School, to their professional learning teams, because they have put together amazing 15-day challenges. They use their in-service time to develop that. And so I want you to know, View Ridge, I'm looking and I see it and it looks awesome. And finally, last, I just want to say thank you to staff, family members, and community members who have served in observance of Veterans Day, which was yesterday, and for my dad who was in the Marine Corps. Hoorah. That's all my updates.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. Okay, so now we have board communication. Donna, do you have any updates or comments?
I don't really have an update. It is nice to be back in person. Hoping my family all stays well so I can just keep this going. I appreciate, Paula, all the work you put into that report. It's always nice to hear good news. Dr. Rodriguez, that was quite a superintendent update. It was a lot and so many positive things going on in our district. And Chris, thank you so much for your work in getting us that grant. Yay. That's awesome. And I look forward to seeing you all next week at the town hall.
Amanda?
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to have to talk already about stuff. I attended the 3 Peaks last week, and that was really nice to get to see some of the community and talk about some of the things that are weighing on people. I just hope I can, reflect what I'm hearing out in the community when we go to decide what we put out there for everyone to vote on eventually. We'll keep on keeping on.
Awesome. Thank you. I just want to start off by saying welcome to Amanda for joining the board. And again, thank everyone who had applied for the open position. It was really wonderful to see the amount of energy and interest in district leadership that is being, I think, cultivated in the community. And welcome to you. The community cafe was really fun. The one coming up on Thursday is at the same time as my normal coffee. So if you were wondering what happened to your coffee hour, it's at the same time. So please come have coffee with us. Most of my other updates were already covered by Dr. Rodriguez. Thank you for being so thorough. But I will just say also again, a big, huge thank you to all of the families who show up every month to celebrate the kids that are in our district. It's really wonderful to see how many amazing students we have here. I will say I've had a few conversations in the community about special ed and some of the ways that we can continue to build and strengthen that program here. So I'm excited to continue that work as a district. And also just extra thanks to Emily Brabant, who's no longer here in the room, but she has been such an exceptional addition to the district in all the ways that she's supporting not just music, but football and theater, and supporting fifth grade musicians to learn their craft as well, so they can be ready for her high school program. So just extra shout out to Emily, because I know she works very hard in a lot of different capacities. And it was exciting to see her being recognized by peers this evening. And that's it for me. And that's right. Okay, thank you. Flipping the page over. We are now going to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Not tonight.
None tonight. So then we'll move on to old business, of which we have none. And then we are moving on to new business.
Yes, we have a number of items this evening. And we have probably the most exciting ones up first, I guess. So yeah, thank you. So the first thing we have up is first read of resolution number 2024-2025-002, educational programs and operations levy. You have in the board packet, and for those here in the room or watching, it is available online as well in our board materials. We are looking potentially at running a replacement EP&O levy for calendar years 2026, 2027, 2028 at a rate of $1.75 per $1,000 assessed valuation. This would generate for the district $14 million roughly in 2026, $14.5 million in 2027, and just over $15 million in 2028. I'm not going to read you the entire resolution, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And as a way of reminder, we're not taking action on this evening.
I didn't have questions, just that I think it is great to be very clear and explicit up front that it is a replacement levy. And I see that that language is put in to the draft that we have here.
So we will be bringing this back to you at the December 10th meeting, at which time I will be seeking action and approval on the resolution. In order to make the timeline for the February election, we have to have this into the county no later than December 13th, which is a short 3 days after our next regular board meeting. So if we want to make that deadline, we will have to take action at the next meeting. And I believe the board will have to appoint pro and con committees at that time. So it would be great to be thinking about that in the interim.
Is that something that we put an announcement out ahead of time?
Will we do that before the 10th?
Yeah. We'll have to put it out about a week in advance.
So even though we've not yet taken action, and should the board choose not to take action, we would not move forward, but we'll be needing to post that prior to the next meeting. So just want community members to be aware if they're interested in serving in the pro or con committee for the purpose of writing up the information for the voters pamphlet for the county. We will have interests that will need to be identified prior to the December 10th meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on the EP&O? Okay.
Sound like it.
Okay. So moving to our next one, first reading on the capital projects and technology levy options. I wanted to just do a quick refresher for everyone before we talk about the resolutions before you.
I did prepare for you two different options, an option A and option B, based on previous conversations that we've had in prior board meetings. And also as each of us have gathered feedback from community members, staff, and families as well on their thoughts. So just a refresher, bonds versus capital levies. When we talk about bonds are for buildings, levies are for learning, we're talking about EP&O levies, like the one we were just discussing. We're not talking about capital project levies. Washington State allows for 3 different kinds of levies for schools. EP&O is the most common and is paying in pretty much every district in our state a portion of just operating costs. We also can have capital project levies, which are for, as it says, capital projects. Can pay for costs to construct, modernize, or remodel school facilities. We also can have technology levies. So we're really looking at a combination of capital and technology with the bulk of the ask is really capital. With levies, even a capital levy, which can build a building, it is approved with just a simple majority of 50% plus 1. We do not have to meet the super majority of 60% that we do with a bond. We can also have multiple capital project levies at a time period, and the time limit is much shorter. It's a 6-year maximum versus a bond, which might be like a mortgage, more like 30 to 40 years. We can only submit a capital project technology levy to our voters twice in the same 12-month period, which is the same as you see with the bond. So something similar, something's different between a bond and a capital project levy. To my knowledge, we've never run a capital project levy or technology levy in Ridgefield School District. We are seeing more and more districts across the state utilizing that as an avenue to tackle construction costs because bonds have an abysmal pass rate in our state at this time. Just want to remind you of the SCAP, the State School Construction Assistance Program. This is what people call state match, which is a little bit of a misnomer because they don't match you dollar for dollar. That's not what happens, but you do have eligibility for state funding. This is the only funding that Washington State provides to public school districts for construction. There is no allocation, $0 come to us for construction, repair, all of that type of work. So in answer to that, they created the SCAP program, and we have eligibility based on the square footage of existing space, the number of students that are considered unhoused, for example, in portables, that's not considered housed. It is also based on the age of the building. So there are 2 buckets, one for new construction for unhoused students and a separate bucket for replacement or modernization. There are different rules for both and different calculations, but they do work together. So when you utilize one bucket of funding, it can have impacts on other buckets as you go through the projects. So you can just see here estimates with soft costs added. We're looking at 16.5 million potentially that we could put towards new elementary. Number 3, and you can see just shy of about 24 million for modernization or new in lieu, which we have talked about before. There are some factors here that change. You can see in the little print at the bottom, but we have something called the construction cost allocation, CCA, that gets adjusted annually. So that's how much money the state would provide per square foot. They do not provide actual costs. They provide a certain amount per square foot. It is below what it actually costs to build. So, and then also the funding assistance percentage, the amount that they will pay towards our project, that changes annually as well. The other big factor that plays into this is enrollment, and it doesn't look at a single year, it looks at multiple years. So that's a little slower to change because you're not just looking at a single year change. So just to reiterate, SCAP allocations may, or I think we could just safely say will change in the future, both for new construction and new in lieu funding. They're impacted again by changes in enrollment. Again, it's a multi-year count, but they use the October head count. The FAP, the funding assistance percentage, which gets updated every spring. The CCA, the construction cost allocation, which gets updated each July based on what is adopted in the state legislative capital budget. changes in square footage within the district. For example, if you build and open a new school and you certify and close out that project, it will change the square footage, which is going to change your allocations within those buckets of money with SCAP, and timing of when the project is approved. This is important for the board to really understand. So for example, if we were to move forward and build elementary number 3, and we finished and got occupancy, and let's say in November of that year, you certified that the project was done, at that moment, that square footage goes on the list of property for us as a district and will significantly reduce the new in lieu funding that could potentially be used for other campuses. There's also timelines with new in lieu. The facility has to be at least 30 years old. So at this time, we're really talking about the building A, the old original building of Union Ridge that was built in the 50s, the original building A of South Ridge, which was built in the early 60s, and portions of Ridgefield High School. So there is some, I would say, willingness and partnership from folks at OSPI to work with districts, including ourselves, to try to time projects in such a way to maximize the available funds. But it is something to be aware of, that the timing of one potential build, if there are other projects that we want to go after, we may need to start that process sooner rather than later. So with that, I want to just run you through highlights of the 2 different resolution options that you have. And again, these are available in the board packet online. Capital and Tech Levy option A maintains services and focuses work at all 3 elementary campuses, our 2 existing at Union Ridge and South Ridge, and a yet to be built elementary number 3. This is the option that I brought to you about a month ago around running a new 6-year dollar technology and capital levy. And you can see at the rate over 6 years, it would generate just over $54 million. That's based on estimates that we're making on assessed valuation throughout our district as well. And based on enrollment and those other factors, we would look to utilize all available state funding for both new K-8 instruction, which again, $16.5 million, and new in lieu K-8 construction, $23.5 million. We would really want to think about site designs that are efficient, effective, and perhaps more reasonable than previous iterations. So for example, there's been conversation already with amongst a number of folks around reducing the size of the gym in the elementary 3 design, eliminating the turf field, collapsing out sort of the wide hallways and the collaboration spaces that you see in the building Bs of Union Ridge and South Ridge. Working with the broader community team to design a long-term facilities plan, and working with the community to consider placement of 5th grade, whether to maintain that at an intermediate middle configuration or return it to an elementary. Determine which existing district properties to keep, sell, or purchase, and reinstate our technology budget. And that's a tiny little piece of this, but it's an important piece for us to maintain existing levels of devices for students and for staff. After digging into a lot of the cost information, meeting with our architect, reviewing current construction costs, talking to the SCAP officials, working with advisors at ESD, we anticipate that the design costs are more than what I initially brought to you. And so I would need to tell you that $1 is not going to take care of all the projects that we talked about a month ago. We would be looking at more like $1.32, which I believe is cost prohibitive for our community. So I am bringing to you tonight also option B, which is at this point my recommendation to you as a board. Again, based on just getting tighter around the numbers, the design, the construction costs, and also just like our laptop configuration, based on feedback from the community, folks that we've talked to at the cafes, or in other venues, or that have just reached out to share information with myself or with you as board members. So my recommendation to you is that we would go with option B. This would maintain our existing services, but put the primary focus on elementary number 3. We would run only a 3-year capital technology levy rather than a 6-year. So this is a shorter term ask. We can get it, I believe, as low as 84 cents with what I'm asking you for. That includes 14.5 million total that's kind of going into this. We would also be still utilizing the SCAP funding for K-8 construction. We would leave that new in lieu funding on the table. That funding cannot be utilized for a new building. So I know there were some concerns last year in conversations around Prop 10 and Prop 11 that we were leaving state match money on the table. The money we're leaving on the table is for new in lieu construction, which must replace existing square footage space and not just portables, like existing brick and mortar school space. So we would need to leave that on hold for now. We would again ensure elementary 3's site design is more reasonable. We have already taken a look at where we could make some fairly easy cuts and adjustments to the design, reducing approximately 6,500 square feet. The original design was for 72,000 square foot building. So taking out 6,500 is a good chunk, but not a crazy chunk, because we want to make sure it's enough space to really serve our students. You can see here what we've listed are the reductions. That's going to reduce the overall cost because, again, you're building based on square footage cost. We would also be seeking some of these funds to put towards overdue deferred maintenance projects at Union and South, primarily the roofs and some mechanical HVAC work that needs to be done. Knowing that we're not even going to be talking about that project for probably 3 years, in good conscience, I can't wait. I really feel an urgency to fix those things that our students and our staff are working in those conditions. I'm just going to keep saying it till everybody just parrots it back to me. The building is older than my mother, who's celebrating her 70th birthday in a week. Happy birthday, Mom. So we got to invest some money to keep it up. It's just like a house. Things fall apart over time. We already intend in any of these options to have a broader community team to work on our long-term facilities plan. And going with this option of a 3-year option really does buy us more time to develop a more robust plan, have longer consideration around the 5th grade question, which will then impact what our next ask might be potentially, work through the existing properties, and again, reinstating that technology budget. So I want to just lay out for you what the costs are. And just for fun, I threw in the Ridgefield High School costs so you could see what that would cost should you choose to add that. Elementary 3, we need 14.5 million combined with all of our existing impact fees and all of the SCAP money that we can get our hands on to get that building built. That is a levy rate over 6 years at 27 cents. I'm asking for a $500,000 or $500,000 tech budget. We slashed that out of our technology budget this year to get closer to a balanced budget. And that would mean not replacing devices for students and staff on the current timeframe. We expect everyone to use those for a minimum of 4 years. If you have your own laptop, you know that after 4 years, it's pretty much out of date. So that's 6 cents. 6 cents so we can have computers. 32 cents per thousand is the building A replacement at Union, 63 at South, because there is not as much new footprint at South. So there's more that would need to be done with replacement. And then one of the other projects, just because I had the quotes on it, is deferred maintenance at Ridgefield High School, which is the mechanical work, the track resurfacing, and the turf replacement. So that's at 4 cents over that 6-year time period. For comparative sake, this is option B, which again is what I'm recommending to you. Elementary three, because now you're only at 3 years instead of 6, it's going to increase your rate. So the rate is 58 cents per $1,000 of assessed valuation to raise that same amount of revenue. Maintaining the $500,000 annually is the same cost for technology because it's $500,000 for either per year for 6 years or $500,000 for 3 years is 6 cents either way. 20 cents per 1,000 will generate enough revenue for us to take care of the deferred maintenance work at Union and South. And it almost doubles their 8 cents for the Ridgefield High School deferred maintenance projects at $2 million. I will share with you that I believe the tech allocation I think we're being fiscally responsible and also ensuring that our staff and students have the technology that's appropriate to the work that we're asking them to do. The $5 million for the elementary deferred maintenance and the $2 million for the high school deferred maintenance, I have built in a very tiny cushion because I just really want to make sure that what we say we can get done, we can get done. The $14.5 million is going to be oh so tight to get elementary 3 done. That will be us really probably trying to draw down some of the design choices even more in order to hedge against the cost of construction escalation. So I did put together for you a cash flow estimate for that option B to revise what we looked at a couple of board meetings ago. So you can see here in the first school year next year, we have impact fees on hand. You heard some good news from Paula this evening that we were able to break even last year. That's great because it means that not that we're like flush with cash, but we're breaking even. So that means we're not having to allocate from some other place to take care of things. We have this state match of 16.5, and we would have capital levy dollars starting to come in spring of 26. So that gives us about 41 million on hand. If you immediately wanted to move forward with the technology budget and the repair work, you have about 35 million on hand. We're estimating the full cost all in for elementary number 3 is closer to 52 million. That includes things like furniture, equipment, all the things that go into a school besides the walls and the toilets and the sinks and those kinds of things. So then we're about short about $16 million. And so at that point, we would be looking at a short-term loan, working with partners in order to front fund that building, to get it built, to get kids in there as quickly as possible, to draw down the size of our elementary schools and reduce, honestly, the number of students that are being served in really, really old structures. And then that money would continue to roll in for a couple of more years, and we would basically be paying off that debt with the set aside of $500,000 each year for that technology budget expense. You can see at the bottom of the 3rd year, and even taking into consideration because the last chunk of that capital levy would come actually in the 4th school year because it goes April, October, it falls on calendar years, not school years. We still have, even after that October payment, we're short about $1.5 million. So when you saw tonight, Paula show you that we're in the black, that's fantastic. But just know, like, I would be looking for us to have enough black to cover that $1.5 million over the next 3 years. So that's shaving off $500,000 from our budget every year, which is not nothing. And or we're banking on having some additional impact fees because those will continue to accrue as development continues in our region in order to make up that last bit of expense there. You will notice, I just want to point out, so because people will be like, well, it says 16.5 million at the bottom of the first column, but 17.325 on the next. I've budgeted at a 5% interest rate, short-term interest rate. Our financial fiduciary, our financial advisors are saying 4% is a likely. Again, I just want to be on the conservative side so we can ensure that we can deliver on what we promise to our community and to our kids. So when you see that with the little asterisk, it's because I've rolled up the interest over time. So this does involve paying some interest, although I will say significantly less than we pay when we do a bond. If you think about buying something on a short-term loan, like maybe a car versus buying a house that you pay on for 30 years, there just is a different amount of interest that goes with that. This is an updated actual projected tax rate. So I just have updated this based on option B. So this is different than the one I presented to you in October. Just for comparison's sake, last year, the bond Prop 10 and 11 would have raised our rate to $3.98 per $1,000 assessed valuation for a really, really long time. And what we're looking at now is going into a rate of $3.62, raising it the 84 cents from the current, really. We've added a quarter to the EPNO, but you can see as there's growth, right, it's the rate's coming down a little bit. So 362, which I don't take lightly. I know that that is a big impact to property owners, myself included. and I think it's important for us to address the needs of our students and our staff. And we've heard loud and clear from the first feedback last year that elementary 3 is the priority. And there seems to be wide consensus in our community from lots of folks who voted lots of ways that elementary 3 is a reasonable ask, provided that we do it in a way that meets the needs and we get what we need, but not necessarily what maybe people wanted. So with that, you do have again in your packet version A and version B. Again, no action this evening, but I'm looking forward to some discussion with the board.
Dr. Rodriguez, on that last slide, the portion that is capital tech levy, is that meant to be for 6 years or just would that be for 3?
It's just for 3, and this is because I took the graphic from ESD.
From the first
Yep.
version. Okay.
So that it would be those 3 first orange, and then they would drop off.
Those last 3 would drop off. Okay.
Yep. And or at that point, we would come back and say, what do we think is next potentially, which could be another capital levy or could be a bond at that time, depending on what the community feels is appropriate. Yeah.
Thank you. And then if that $1.5 million shortfall that we'd be anticipating, you mentioned impact fees could continue to come in. Can we use those to pay off a short-term loan, or would that need to be to pay for costs up front on the elementary 3?
Oh, I think we can pay for anything except the interest. So that's the tricky part.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a timing. Knowing that we're looking at running this in February, there is a tight timeline to get the state match money released this summer 2025, in order to begin construction. And so we'd be looking to have hopefully that funding in place and a lot of the other funding to do as much as we can up front. We also, I would imagine, even just in 12 months, we'll have more in impact fees. And if you think about the construction timeline of 9 to 12 months, I would anticipate we'd have those funds in place by that point.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. When is the timeline if the 3rd elementary school gets built? When would it open again?
So if we were able to have the capital and technology levy approved by voters, and we were able to get through the D form process with OSPI on their timeline in order to release those funds in July or August, we would be looking to complete construction throughout next school year, 25-26, and open the school in fall of 26.
Okay. And on that note, would the EPNO levy increase cover the cost of the staff that would go into those buildings? Like, is that factored in the cost of the new elementary school? Like,
no, because really what's happening is those students and staff already exist all over the place in our district. So we do anticipate still some enrollment growth. So there'll be some staff that are hired. And there are some things like your head secretary that we would need another one. But for the most part, it will be staffed with existing staff relocating. So that goes into really the long-term state funding, not necessarily the EPNO. Our EPNO does pay a portion of salaries and benefits for pretty much all of our staff, but it's really designed to pay for other things like athletics and our family resource center and some of those items.
Thank you for all of that work that I know has gone into this planning and listening and planning some more.
Okay, so I'm going to flip past all these things. We also have a number of first reads for board policy revisions. Again, not taking action, first read this evening, and then I'll bring it back to you for second read at our next regular board meeting, which is again on Tuesday, December 10th. The first one, I believe, is revised board policy number 4130, Title I, Part A, Parents and Family Engagement. And we actually already looked at this one this fall, but we found some formatting issues in the document. We just didn't like it when we transferred it into things. So we just want to fix that to make it easier to read and follow. So we will be recommending approval of that at the next board meeting. And you have the track changes document in front of you and in the board packet online. Any questions about that one? Okay, so moving on, item 10E, first read of new board policy number 5641, student teachers. We have not actually had policy about student teachers in our district. And one of the first things that I heard about when y'all hired me was a paraeducator who was an employee of ours who was told she could not student teach in our district because she was an employee here. And in my time since I've been here, I've also heard from folks who have children in our district that have been told previously that they couldn't student teach in our district because of a conflict of interest. So I've done my due diligence to just check out other places and other folks. We would really like to encourage people who work for us already to continue their careers with us in different roles, and certainly would love to encourage our families who reside in our boundary to also seek employment in our district. So to make sure that everyone is clear that that is possible and we're open to that now, I thought it would be best to bring you a policy that clearly delineates our student teacher policy. So you do have a draft of the policy. Again, this would be brand new, but it just basically says that we encourage cooperation with colleges and universities in training new teachers, that will accept student teachers from accredited institutions that we have cooperative agreements with, that we would honor the reasonable rules of the university or the teacher training institution, and that we coordinate the request for placement with building principals. We never would want to place 20 people in one building, for example. But we do certainly want to make room, particularly for our own staff who are furthering their education and seeking new roles within the system. So any questions, I'm happy to answer. This is really coming direct from WASDA's model board policy for student teachers.
I have a question about this one, just because it's fairly brief, which is fine, because nobody needs a long wordy policy if you don't need lots of words to say the thing. Does this speak to, is there, I guess, a separate, is it a procedure document that would then lay out some of this around supporting, say, classified employees who wanted to do go through a student teaching, like go through to get their credential?
Yes. That
would be in the procedures, not in this.
It wouldn't be in the policy, it will be in the procedure. And for me, the clarity is if it doesn't say we can't, then that means
Then we can. Okay, thank you for
Mhm.
that.
Other questions on that one? Okay, moving on to item 10F. Also a first read, this would be a revised board policy number 3142 for international exchange students. We do already have a policy for international exchange students. I'm proposing that we update some language to allow our international exchange students to participate in all school-sponsored events during their time as a Ridgefield School District student. You can see the changes again listed there, that they would be admitted and permitted to participate in any and all school-sponsored activities as allowable under district procedures and rules of other recognized governing bodies. There are some things like with athletics and particular competitive activities that there could be some impacts. What was most important to a family that I spoke with was that their international exchange student be allowed to participate in commencement exercises. So this update to policy and procedure will allow our international exchange students to put on a cap and gown with their fellow seniors and participate in commencement. They will not receive a high school diploma from the state of Washington, but they will be permitted to participate. Happy to answer questions.
I don't have a question. I would just like to say thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. That was a long time coming.
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to do good in my little corner of the world, Donna. Okay. All right. And another item 10G, first read of revised board policy number 6213, reimbursement of travel expenses. So this policy has not been updated till 2008. There really are no substantive changes in the WASDA model policy. We've just corrected a grammatical error. Really why I'm bringing this to you is I wanted to bring public recognition to a change in the procedure. And that it's not something that comes to the board. That's something we do administratively within the district. But I wanted to share with you that we're updating how we're doing travel expenses for our students. So in the past, our students have received 70% of what we pay for adults for meals when they're on travel. And for a variety of reasons, that's been challenging. Under all sorts of rules and guidelines, we have to follow per diem for our staff. We've worked with Principal Palmer and our ASB secretary, our athletic director, a variety of folks at the high school to really think through what makes the best sense for students, for efficient operations with the ASB office, and also taking into consideration the cost impact to the ASB funds, which is where these funds are taken for students. So we certainly don't want to bankrupt our ASB. So we've developed a flat rate for students for all activities for breakfast, lunch, and dinner that brings them closer to the adult rate, makes it a nice even amount for ease of coaches and students and our staff. And it has really shed some light on potential inequities within our system. So it's really allowed us to take a close look at how are we supporting students in all activities, athletics, theater, music, speech and debate across the board, because there is a high desire on my part, as well as Principal Palmer and her staff, that we are honoring the interests of our students, regardless of what those interests are. Not all interests require a uniform. So just wanted to bring some attention to that. Okay.
Okay, and that is the end of our new business. Do we have a need for executive session this evening?
We do, actually. Sorry, board, but we do have a need for an executive session for the purpose of purchase or lease of real estate under RCW 42.30.110 1B. I would be asking for, let's say 30 minutes, because I think we'll be under that.
Okay. So do we have a motion to go into executive session.
I'm motion that we go into executive session for approximately 30 minutes.
Mhm.
I second the motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going into executive session for no more than 30 minutes. You are welcome to stay, but there will be no action taken after the executive session this evening. So please feel free to go have your dinner. Okay. Thank you for staying.
We are going to extend our executive session for an additional 15 minutes. Is that no action? Do I have to say that? Yes. We are back from executive session. No action will be taken and our meeting is adjourned.
One under your belt, Amanda.
I know, I feel so powerful, and important.